Let's rise as the candles are being lit, and then we'll follow up the candle lighting with Jerry Sorokin chanting El Malay Rachamim.
Hey, Jeff.
And then we'll follow the candle lighting with Jerry chanting El Malay Rachamim.
I'm very glad and grateful to have this opportunity to talk about the so-called Kristallnacht, or Crystal Night, of November 1938. Can you hear me, everybody? As events become history, it is all the more important, especially for eyewitnesses, to keep the memories alive. To put the Kristallnacht into perspective, we must remember that at that time, Hitler had been in power for over 5 years. The number of Jews in Germany who were about 500,000 in 1933 had greatly diminished, and they had already been deprived of most of their rights. Doctors, lawyers, and other professionals were barred from practicing. Jews were not allowed to enter universities, concerts, theaters, as well as many hotels and restaurants. They had lost their citizenship, and of course, there was a ban on intermarriage. My father could no longer practice law after about 1935, despite his previous military service. We children could not use the public pools and many other facilities. We were increasingly excluded. If you wonder, why didn't the Jews just leave? The answer is, where to? Most of the other countries had very strict immigration laws with endless formalities, all kinds of requirements, and sometimes years of waiting. By that time, German immigrants were no longer permitted to take any money along, and nobody wanted penniless refugees. It also needs to be mentioned that the Jews in Germany after World War I were probably the most assimilated and integrated group of Jews anywhere. They had, of course, fought in the war, and many, including my father, received an Iron Cross and other honors. My father lived in the same house in which I was born, some 50 years later. And his family had lived in the town of Bielefeld in the province of Westphalia, or the surrounding area, for several hundred years. When the synagogue was built and dedicated in 1905, my father's uncle was the president of the congregation, and my father followed him after World War I. The Jews became a very active part of the new democratic state until the arrival of Hitler changed everything. And the Jews once again were the convenient scapegoats for anything negative.